Hello. I'm here to talk about a certain company. A company founded by Elon Musk, a first private space enterprise to achieve real commercial success. A company running the strongest rocket in existence. The name is Space Exploration Technologies Corporation, in short SpaceX. SpaceX was, still is, and most likely to remain as the most innovative and challenging company in the space industry. They were the first to try and succeed reusable rockets. They were the first to try something like the Starlink. They are the only company planning on Mars colonization. They are a company with a surprisingly interesting path ahead of them, and definitely a kind of company to keep an eye on. First, I will talk about SpaceX projects. SpaceX's most notable projects are those intended to develop a fully reusable launch vehicles and a global internet network called Starlink. SpaceX reusable launcher program was publicly announced in 2011 and the design phase was completed in 2012. The system was designed to return the first stage of Falcon 9 rocket to a predetermined landing site using only its own propulsion systems. In March 2017, after a series of successful rocket landings uh, behind a certain year, after a series of successful rocket landings, SpaceX launched the flight-proven Falcon 9. This was the first time a single payload-carrying orbital rocket to reach to space on its own twice. In January 2015, Elon Musk announced the development of a new satellite constellation called Starlink. To provide global broadband internet service, the internet service would use a constellation of about 4,425 cross-linked communication satellites. The goal of this project is to increase the profitability and cash flow, and then ultimately to allow SpaceX to build its Mars colony based on the Earth-Mars internet connection. Now then, let's talk about achievements of SpaceX. Major achievements of SpaceX are in the reuse of orbital class launch vehicles and cost reduction in the space launch industry. Most notable of these being the continued landings and relaunches of the first stage of Falcon 9. As of March 2020, SpaceX has used a single first stage booster of Falcon 9 rocket, B1048, at most 5 times. These are some of the more lists of SpaceX achievements. The first private company to successfully launch, orbit, and recover a spacecraft. The first private company to send a spacecraft to the International Space Station and dock successfully. The first landing of an orbital rocket, first stage and on land and then on ocean. Well now, what what about the future then? What is the goal of Musk's and SpaceX? At 2016 International Astronomical Congress, Musk announced his plans to build large spaceships to reach Mars. Using this starship, Musk planned to land at least 2 unmanned cargo ships to Mars in 2022. The first mission would be used to seek out sources of water and build a propellant plant. Musk also planned to fly 4 additional ships to Mars in 2024, including the first people. From there, additional missions would work to establish a Mars colony. In the past, SpaceX has been the icon of private space corporation, and somehow it still is, though they are running the world's cheapest satellite launching business based on the reusable launch system. Furthermore, the low-cost rocket launches are enabling them to try somehow a bizarre project called Starlink. The space industry was once thought as the perfect red ocean. Besides the fact that it is very difficult, very risky, and very expensive as it is, it was considered impossible for a private corporation to compete with some mammoth Goliaths like NASA, LMT, and Boeing, but not anymore. SpaceX has first fought as the underdog and succeeded, and now as a Goliath himself, bringing the future of space tourism, Mars expedition, interplanetary internet, and much more to our future. Thank you for listening to my speech about SpaceX.